Hello, hello. Let me know if you can see and hear me okay. This is going to be a group energy healing where I heal 100 and nope, 128 people in 10 different countries. Assuming everybody told me they're going, if not, which is but anyway, let me know if you can see and hear me okay. I am testing all stuff. Don't think I'll be able to myself this, but that's okay. I'll figure that out. But oh good. Thank you very much. So yeah, I'm testing it. New to us. I like to buy, husband and I like to buy laptops that are, they're old, but they're still got a lot of stuff, and so you get first stream with it. So the camera is a bit different. I mean, I am a white pasty person, but maybe not quite. Oh, sound is going in and out. Really? Let me see. How about other people? Sound is going in and out. I'm gonna keep talking. So you can talk. Hey, Janet can see and hear you, but the sound keeps pausing. Oh, that's 2 votes for sound pausing. I need more feedback. If you don't mind, because different people in different places sometimes. I'm gonna go into my sound, see what. But I've tested this in advance. I was too busy studying surveys. Sound's still going in and out even after you close the app. Okay, so let's see. Hmm. I think let me fix some stuff. Okay, how about now? How about, okay, I'm going to start saying apple. So after apple, let me know if it still works after apple. Someone says perfect sound here using my phone for the live stream. Okay, can see and hear you just fine, somebody else says. Okay, so since I started saying apple, what do you think, guys? Apple, apple, apple. I'm trying to mute a couple of the things that it's trying to use so that it maybe is better. How about now? Working now after apple. Okay, I don't exactly know what I fixed. La la la. La la la. So now that I'm singing, say it works. all these extra devices. See, this is why, like, some technology is unnecessary. Because my new laptop is trying to communicate with like every device in the house right now, which is really not helping. Okay, still sounds good. All right, so let's hope this is enough. I turned off my phone. I think I got it to stop listening to our TV. So we'll see. But let me know. I'll try to check the comments now and then for sound comments. Okay. You guys are all did I ask it to talk to my team? I did not. One of my problems. New stuff. It's like, oh, we got it to do 2,000 things now. And I only needed one of those things. Okay, all right, enough complaining. Okay, so I'm gonna write sound test over a hopeful thing. You don't know. Okay, cool. So thank you so much, everybody. Now just figure out why. With this new. But anyway, okay, that's just vanity. So I'm gonna get over that. I have the backdrop of the nasturtium leaves and the ladybug right there. Just for my assertion that for me, summer is ongoing. Because officially in the calendar, it's still summer too. But for me, like I want summer to continue until. So that image I took in the garden last year or the year before, probably the year before when I bought all those ladybugs, maybe last year. So anyway, good memories. Okay. So, someone says sound going out a little bit again. How about everybody else? How about sound? No, how's talking? Let's see, I'll talk about pizza. So let me know now that I'm talking about pizza, how is the pizza sound? Maybe the MacBook microphone is fighting. What's out during pizza? Okay. Maybe the MacBook microphone is fighting my big boy microphone. So let's see. What if I try to mute the MacBook microphone? Okay, so now I'm talking about what do I want to whipped cream. I love whipped cream. Okay, so now I'm talking about whipped cream. Can you hear me? And how is the sound now that I'm talking about whipped cream? Because I do love whipped cream so much. Someone says, I think you're right that it's fighting the mic. So, okay, so whipped cream, how is the whipped cream sound? Right? Now that I'm talking about whipped cream, how is my sound? Because I think I've made the MacBook Pro microphone calm down and I'm okay. Sound is good for whipped cream. All right, so we'll see if that continues. Hopefully it will. I could even up the sound a little for the whipped cream for the big girl microphone. All right. Well, let's see how this goes. All right. So that way it's not listening to the laptop microphone. It's only listening to the big girl microphone. All right. So we'll see. Fingers crossed. Okay. Okay, cool. So, let's talk about what we're going to do today. There's a lot of good stuff. Oh, you know what though? I want to talk a moment about the last healing that we did. So, quick, okay, so a quick results discussion about the last healing. So you guys know I do read surveys. Thank you very much if you ever put in time for a survey. I know it's a weird thing because you're giving me feedback on an individual level, taking out time in your day, a minute or two or three, and I don't email you back personally over it because I'm just like inwardly reflecting and compiling everything. So it's, I think, maybe triggering for people because they're putting in effort and then they don't feel like they're getting a result, but you really do get a result because then I study how the healing was for you, and if you're getting the next healing, then I know like, oh, okay, you need this instead or whatever. So there really is a benefit. I don't know what attenuator means, but anyway. um so so thanks for the surveys. But okay. So oh, really. Okay. So the last healing was August triplet set, August twin set healing 2 of 2. Okay, and we did a lot of unfortunately the live stream recording was a bit of a mess. Like you have to keep using the chapters to jump ahead because I fiddle with graphics to get them like perfect to point out like certain points on the image, So but if you use the chapters and jump ahead each time that I'm screwing with graphics, then it's fine. But anyway, so we did a lot of work on meridians and specific points that benefit sexuality. So help with your sexual experience, your sexual hormones, all that stuff. And the results were interesting. Some people felt like, okay, my sexual desire is greater. Some people felt like their body was much more like able to experience it in a positive way, but the results, actually the bigger results were, well, I mean, so that's a pretty big result, and it kind of proved to me that energy heal, I mean, I know energy healing on meridians works, but it proved to me like, wow, energy healing on sexual acupuncture points, acupuncture points that are supposed to help with, sexual hormones and stuff, is a huge deal. Even if, your problem is because of abuse as a child or whatever, and so you could argue it's like psychological issue, not a physical issue, but of course it's ends up affecting your physical energy centers and your physical meridians and chakras anyway. So anyway, so that was cool, just in and of itself. But not everybody commented on that, but I know it helped some people in valuable ways, sexually speaking, literally. But then there was the emotional benefits that people felt too. And then, but there was this oddly awesome change for some people in like attitude breakthroughs, I want to say, or like discipline breakthroughs. Which, you know, it's like just goes to show, you know, if you can afford it and if you don't mind doing all the healings, just do all the damn healings, you know, because it's like you never know. You know, it's like the theme of that was sexuality and emotions. But, you know, if it helps you like have a realization or like a change in your ability to self-care in a really drastic new way, like that's huge and you wouldn't have predicted it just from the theme. So, but if you are going to just pick and choose and do certain sets, double check with your angels because your angels are going to know, like, oh yeah, the likelihood of that one also helping this, this, and this that's not in the theme, you know, they'll know. And so they can pick for you. So if you do want to pick and choose healings and not do them all, you know, obviously that's fine too, but just try to use your intuition and ask your angels. Don't just go by the theme. But anyway, so long story short, some big breakthroughs on like discipline, like self-care related discipline, and just attitude, perspective changes, which I would not have expected from that second healing. But you know, chakras, you know, like acupuncture points, meridians, chakras, all that stuff, like it's so interrelated and there's so much that is regulated or assisted by every chakra and every meridian, you know, major chakra or acupuncture point chakras. And so anyway, it was cool. I did want to make a short video of sexuality points, acupuncture points, but I feel like I'm gonna wait on it just and like put that on the someday list just because I feel like if I learn more, it'll be a better video. So we'll see. But cool and exciting. But if you didn't find some sexual or emotional breakthrough or some self-care breakthrough from that last healing, don't feel bad. Not everybody did. It's just it was noteworthy enough that I wanted to mention. Okay, so today, so this is a new month, September, the continuation of summer for some of us. And the theme is pretty interesting. It's a new theme the angels had me do for this month: gentle realizations and inner truth, unlocking your subconscious wisdom in a stable and safe way. Because I mean, some things are in your subconscious because they're too much for your mind, your conscious mind to handle. And so, you know, the subconscious has a good role, you know. It's not like you want everything in your subconscious to become conscious. That would not be healthy. But that said, there tends to be a lot in the subconscious mind that doesn't need to stay there. And if you were to sort of let them into your conscious mind in a gradual enough way, combined with other stability inducing energy healing like clearing triggered blocks and regrounding and unblocking your grounding and, you know, having nice boundaries with others, I mean, it could be a real immense benefit. So we're going to explore that this month. I'm pretty pumped about it. So anyway, so that's that. Okay, so that was the theme, really. Sorry. So that was. Okay, so that was discussing this month's theme. Okay, so now we'll do what I said we're going to do. Now we will do today's techniques and concepts. So today is the first healing in September. It's the first of the set of 3, and then we'll do a set of 2 later this month, which is still for sale on my website if you want to purchase it. But so how are we going to help gentle realizations and inner truth, unlocking your subconscious wisdom? Well, 1, 2, 3, 4. there are 4 main ways we're going to do it, in addition to what we always do, which is the 5 essentials: grounding, aura repair, chakra repair, creative ring repair. You're a good. So in addition to the essentials, the 5 essentials that we always start with, there are 4 things we're going to do to help gentle realizations and inner truths. So one of them is healing mini yous that specifically are so many little parts of you. You know, we're not just all one part in one way, right? If you add up all what you're doing consciously and subconsciously, lots of different parts and ways you feel and things you're doing spiritually. So there are some parts, most likely in everyone, that are suppressing or repressing your possible realizations. And I'm talking about healthy realizations. So there are possible healthy realizations that you have, but it's like you're pushing them down. You know, parts of you are actively pushing them down, like no, no. And it could be just there was a time in your life where you couldn't handle knowing anything, and that part of you got stuck in the stress of that time. And so the rest of you moved on and moved forward, but there's a part of you still stuck working hard to repress something that actually in today's life, your life today, would really be a productive realization, not too big. So that's what we're aiming for. So that's one thing. Heal mini yous that are repressing healthy realizations, healthy possible realizations. The second thing is heal inner wounds that could be triggered by positive change. So just generally, positive change is still a big deal, even though it's positive. So like, say if you won the lottery, or, you know, that's sort of a classic, obvious example. It would still trigger a lot if you won the lottery, even though it's like amazing and great, you know, even if like it was private and people didn't know, it could still trigger a lot within you. If you won the lottery, even though it's great, and you know, you wouldn't have to have financial concerns, and well, or you'd have a lot fewer or different ones. But so because every change can trigger stuff, right? And so we're just going to help you heal, clear baggage too, but heal inner wounds. Sometimes you know, it's not necessarily like logical, but there are parts of you that are wounded that just maybe can't handle anything new, even a good thing new. And so we'll heal those parts of you. So those parts of you aren't like putting the brakes on positive change. And we'll also, as part of that, before we heal those wounds, we'll, you know, have your angels recycle invasive beings that might be in the way. And also we'll uncord people from your inner wounds, because their energy can be in the way too. And those people, sometimes they have manipulative intentions in a negative sense, but sometimes maybe they're just thinking that they're protecting you from the world. You know, but in reality, they're just blocking you from healing these parts of you. So, you know, it's easy. We'll just have the angels cycle the beings, and then we'll uncord the people and wash their energy out. And then we'll heal those inner wound parts of you that are healthy and gentle to heal, so that, you know, it's just a smoother transition for you to allow changes, positive change. So there's the heal many yous, there's the heal inner wounds part. And then the third thing out of 4 is letting your angels, or angels in general, protect external things. Like, again, it's not one of these things that's super logical. I mean, it's a little bit logical, but it's not something that you'd be like, oh, of course, that has to do with inner realizations. Like, if you're using some of your life force, say, to protect your property, to protect your car, and, you know, your spouse's car, if you have to protect your pets, you know, and you have 2 pets or 5 pets or however many you have. Thank God I only have 2 at the moment. Although my husband's campaigning really hard to get a 3rd. How the tables have turned. Years ago, I was the one campaigning for more pets. Anyway. So, if you're using your life force to protect external things and external beings, then that can be overly taxing. It's more efficient to ask the angels to protect those things. And you can ask for as much extra protection as you want from the angels. Be sure that you're asking angels, which is easy. You just say angels, because you don't want to ask whatever's out there, please, because not everything is that trustworthy that's out there, So anyway, so we'll do it in the right order where you ask the angels to step in and protect extra, and then you can stop using your life force to protect your car or protect your property so that, and the angels do a better job anyway. So, but it looked like when I looked at the sample person that they were using so much of their energy to protect their family members and their family's properties and possessions that it was just like it was like a real chaos. Like it harmed their ability to have strong boundaries with their family members and with the property. So they were like absorbing a lot of external energy and it was like kind of scrambling their brain a little too. Because it's possible that you need a much deeper sense of like peace of mind than your family members do, or than, your neighbors do, or, whatever. And so the setting of your house may not be perfect for, for how you want your body to feel. But if you've somehow connected your body to the property, it's like it interferes with your ability to, really find your mind and your. Long story short, we'll let the angels protect the external things, so that you can call your energy back and have better boundaries and more sort of precise settings for yourself, which in turn helps you to listen to your own mind and inner realizations. Okay, so then the 4th thing, which I'll probably talk about here. I'll make it. So yin yang balance. So yin and yang are traditional Chinese medicine concepts. I'm not an expert with them at all, but and I'm not an expert in traditional Chinese medicine, but I do really like doing energy healing on, meridians and acupuncture chakras. But I was reading about traditional Chinese medicine and sexuality just a teeny bit. Again, not an authority, not an authority here, but that, it's a lot about balance and having your yin and your yang organs within you, organ systems, and your yin and your yang energy within you in balance. And that creates a harmony and a wellness that then, helps everything, including sexual hormones and, physical, including emotions, including your mind, yada, yada, right? So we often do healings on GV and CV meridians, which are extraordinary meridians. They're like special meridians, not the 12 regular ones. And they, GV, one goes up the back and around the head, and then CV goes up the middle front. And they help, GV helps regulate all your yang meridians, and CV helps regulate all your yin meridians. So sometimes we just heal those 2 meridians in order to help all your 12 regular meridians, the yin ones and the yang ones. But I think I'm going to go one step further since I was reading about, you know, the balance and and also how like I was reading, and again I don't have a profound understanding of this, but how they said like Western medicine, it's more like, I mean, and I kind of know this, but you know, the way in the context they were talking about, it was interesting where, you know, Western medicine, it focuses on illness and, you know, sort of fixing illness, fixing, you know, when things go wrong, right? And they were saying that traditional Chinese medicine, it's not so much about what's wrong, it's about harmony and balance, restoring balance. The emphasis is more on the balance. And so it's not so much like, you know, illness bad, you know, it's like balance, always bringing you into balance. And so I was thinking, you know, we could do more with like rather than just literally working the GV and CV meridians today, we'll work like as a river, and also just to unblock the river and nourish the river, we'll work one river that represents your CV meridian and all your yin organ systems and meridians, and the GV, and one river to represent your GV meridian and all your yang meridians and organ systems. So it's kind of cool, bottom line. So I think it'll be good. But, you know, so we can lift out anything that keeps them out of harmony. Because, you know, you may have one system that's too hyped up or one system that's kind of suppressed. And then there, you know, that creates all sorts of imbalances. So, but I'm going to try to be, you know, my perspective often is kind of, it's a little bit maybe too Western in that way of, I mean, I don't know if I would call it, you don't have to call it Western, but like, you know, like I fix damage. Energy, you know, chakras, we fix damage. We look for what's wrong and then we repair it. So, you know, but sometimes we did do where we were thinking about, you know, what's harmonious in the world. We're thinking about nature, you know, and thinking about, you know, as we ground, you think about kind of what's right, you know? And so we could work that a little bit within that yin river and the yang river. We can look at, you know, getting rid of the imbalances so they're more equal in strength, you know, and they can support each other well. And then we could do a teeny bit within that, thinking about the balance sense of, you know, so it's not always about like, oh, that's wrong, you know, just thinking about what's good. So hope that makes sense. But it should be cool. Thank you for all the confirmations about the sound still. I appreciate that. Okay, cool. So that's it. And as we do the yin river and the yang river, we'll definitely you know, have that intention of only what's healthy and gentle, you know, because obviously unblocking, you know, your CV meridian, a river that represents your CV meridian, and then all the yin, the 6 regular yin meridians at once is like kind of a big deal. But if you do it healthy and gentle, it's not a big deal. You lift out the blocks that are healthy and gentle once. But that is important. Don't go in there all like, I'm gonna clear all blocks that I've ever had right now. You know, you will really be unhealthy. Okay. Cool. So I'm gonna look at pre-healing chat comments, and then we'll do the 3 minutes of quiet, and then we will get going with the healing. And when I heal, I say what I'm doing as I do it, except for like the first minute or two when I'm quiet. But I say what I'm doing as I do it, so you could use it as a self walkthrough. Even if you're new to energy healing, you could still wing it. And if you're advanced, very advanced, there should be plenty of interesting. Oh, right. So, okay, hi Janet and everyone. Hey Janet, we can see you in Chicago, 66 Fahrenheit and sunny. Good gardening temperatures. And then there's all the sound comments. Thank you for those. Someone says hello from Las Vegas, Nevada, 92 degrees and cloudy. So that's very cool for you guys. Someone says, "Hey Janet, can see and hear you, see you, but the sound, give me sound feedback. Thank you." Someone says hello from Chicago. Hello to you. Thanks for the sound feedback. Someone says it's raining in Ottawa, Canada right now. Well, hello to you. Thanks for the weather update. More sound feedback. Thank you, everybody. Someone says, "Woot! Good later morning from sunny Portland, Oregon." Hello to you. More sound stuff. Thank you very much. So hopefully sound is okay now. Someone says, "I was surprised at how positively assertive I became after the last healing. It's super cool." Yeah. Really? Where did that come from? It's a healing on emotions and sexuality. But I think it is that yin yang balance thing. I think. You know, I think that the specific points we were working on, maybe like the ones that strengthen yin, and so maybe it was about like yin and yang, that your people's yin wasn't strong enough. And so then once yin got stronger, then it was like everything sort of clicked and worked well for the people that did find big improvements with assertiveness and clarity and attitude shifts and self-care shifts. Cool, cool, cool. Some more sound feedback, thank you, but sounds like it got resolved on your end. Oops, someone says still cutting out a bit, goes well for a while, and then we'll cut out. Bug. Oh my goodness. What if all right, do one more sound. Okay, so what I'm going to do, even though I do adore this big girl microphone, I'm going to see if what I need to do is placate my laptop. Use it. The microphone. Maybe this version of operating system is a little more bossy and it doesn't play well with. So I'm going to go in. I haven't changed it yet. Okay, so I'm going to go in. Okay, so right now I'm using both. But even if it's good now, maybe it's only good temporarily. So then I'm going to get rid of the big girl mic. No sound. All right. All right. So how about now? How about now? Now I'm talking about summer. Okay. Now I'm talking about summer. Let me know if you can talk about summer. That's the question. Talk about summer. Now it's sound, but it's scratchy. Can hear summer. Is it scratchy summer? Is it scratchy? Working now. How well is it working? You hear my fan? That's my concern. That's why I started using the big girl microphone. Sorry, Janet. Not your fault. I'd rather we get this through now rather than you guys have a whole live stream where you have to deal with shitty sound. Heard summer. No. No out of nowhere is a little hard to interpret. I think you mean it's not scratchy. Okay. You hear like a fan sound? Because that's why I stopped using the laptop microphone in the first place. It was like this background fan. Going with spoken incl. If I screw with it for like a month. No fan. Okay. So is this sound okay then? Maybe I'll just go with this. And later, not on a live stream, I'll just. I think the big girl microphone has better sound, but do I know? I haven't tried with this. Okay. All right. Go with that. Boldly go forward. And don't worry if it is bad again. Tell me. Tell me, because I think maybe I could get the big girl microphone to work if I could better. But I don't want to bother right now if I don't need. Want to close this live stream and start a new one. No, I don't think that'll help. I'll just make a chapter so that people. Okay. I mean, unless if it crashes, I will. Okay. Now we'll do 3 minutes of quiet. During that high on a spirit level to all the 100. Still, so that everyone knows on a spirit level 2, audio was okay before the experiment. Now it's working, but to me, it's far away. Fight me. All right, I'm gonna try one more thing. My last ditch effort. Plug the big girl one back in. Going to hello, 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 hello. Hello. Hello, hello. I don't think it likes. No, but I'll see. Hellos, but they are actually scratching. Okay, so now I'm doing a sound test and I'm testing with the big girl microphone. So what I did is I hopefully chose it properly. So this is testing the big girl microphone. So you can just mention big girl microphone in your comment if you have anything to say about it. So big girl microphone. Hey, honey. So big girl microphone. Someone says this sounds good. I'm testing the microphone. Big girl microphone sounds good. That would be nice if I could use the big girl microphone. The new laptop has been a little bit glitchy, but big girl microphone sounds great. Okay, fine. So for now, we'll do this. So hopefully that's it. But if it's not, tell me, because I don't want a whole live stream with shit sound. That would not be. It would not be useful for people to learn from later. Okay. So now we'll do the 3 minutes of quiet. Okay. Okay, thanks for waiting. So you have hand chakras, right? One in the palm of each hand, and you have fingertip chakras, one in each fingertip. So with your intention or your thought, you don't need to see energy to do it. You set those particular chakras, hand and fingertip chakras, to metallic gold color, because that's a good, useful vibration for healing and repairing and letting go and unblocking. Right? So with your thought or your intention, you set those chakras to metallic gold. So then as they naturally spin and generate energy, it will be that color. Even if you can't see it, it's still a color. It's still a vibration. So, and you can use the gold light from one hand to unblock and heal the other hand. Right? Like, and you can also make a copy out in front of you of any part of your energy system, physical body part, your auras, your grounding, and unblock it using a copy out in front of you. So you can make a copy of your everything out in front of you and comb through it. So your everything, what's everything of yours? So your 17 auras, you have actually not just one aura, that's 17 auras. So they're all around you. Looks like a big bubble. Right? So just comb through all your auras with gold light from your hands. Right? You just make a copy out in front. Right? You're combing through all your auras, and your physical body and your astral body are inside there. So just comb through, and then comb through your groundings. Right? And unblock your gold light from your hands. Right? Okay, so now we're going to do a kind of a cool contrasting combination of things. We're going to work grounding, so create and unblock both your groundings, physical body and astral body grounding. But we're also going to heal far off parts of you that are like way far away, that, you know, maybe went there on a really bad day or really bad time in your life or time in a past life. And so it's like you scattered in a way that you haven't come back from. And that's easy to do, to scatter, but it's also easy to heal those parts so that you get that energy. Parts of you feel good again. So let's do grounding first, and then we'll do the heal far off. So you can recreate both your groundings, make them big and wide as, you know, say if you were to stretch out your arms as wide as your wrists or your palms. And make both your groundings that wide, behind you, to your side, in front of you. And make them both red or orange or yellow, both meaning your physical body grounding and your astral body. Nice and wide. You want them this wide because that's how wide your auras are if they're nice and full of your energy. So bring up your groundings as high as your third chakra. Your third chakra is beneath your sternum. That's where your third is. So bring up your grounding that high and set the color of both your groundings to red or orange or to yellow, both the same. And just do that with your thought or your intention. You don't need to see. Right? And then you make a copy out in front of you of your groundings. You use gold light from your hands and comb through groundings. And wash everybody else out of your groundings. Your groundings are just for you. They're not for you and your friend, you and your children, you and your parents, you and no. No coworkers, no former friends, no former boyfriends, whatever. Clean them all out. Everybody out of your grounding. Gold light, wash everybody out. You need all of your grounding for yourself so that you can let go and you can kind of de-stress, release whatever's not you, and that you can take in as much earth energy, the core of the earth, as you need to stabilize. So just unblock your grounding. Also, independent grounding, where you use gold light and you run it through the outer surface of your groundings and you melt away any attachments between your grounding and other people's groundings so that yours works as best as possible. And it's good for other people too. It's not good for them to plug into yours. It's better go straight down, have their grounding. Gold light, melt away everybody else's attachments. And there could be hard objects that got thrown at your grounding that are still stuck there. So use gold light to melt away those. And there could be like blocks that have sort of collected up at some point in your grounding. So just look for the clogs. Even if they're right at the bottom of your grounding, just look for clogs in your grounding and melt them away with gold. You could say too, angels, if there are any invasive beings in my grounding, can you please recycle? That way your angels hear that and they'll make it happen. All right, good job, good job. So now we'll heal far off parts of you. So that's easy to do. So you can imagine, you know, some representation of yourself, even if you look just like a potato or something. You know, you don't have to see in detail. You're just imagining, okay, this is you, you know, the part of you that's in and around your body. And then there are far off scattered parts of you. And just run gold light through those far off scattered parts. Try to be comforting and use gold light. You can bring up red earth energy and ground these far off scattered parts of you. Again, these are parts of you that just, you know, you were having a bad day or a bad year or whatever. So just use gold light, heal those parts of you, say it's okay, it's all right. And as those parts of you get healed, most likely you're going to get the energy back. So they won't stay separate far off. So use lots of gold light, heal those far off parts of you. You can say too, angels, can you help me heal these parts of me? Breath and comb through your everything, all your auras, your physical body, your astral body, and your grounding. Or you're still releasing a lot through your grounding in all parts of your sides, the back, center part, the front. Good job, good job. You're amazing. Woo, yay. Good job. Right. Okay, so now we'll do aura repair. And so that's easy. You have 17 auras, right? And you can have rips in a bunch of them at once. Like I was messaging with somebody and they had their boundaries. They were having issues. They were like, "Oh, there's so many invasive beings," but it was really that they had some big rips in a couple of their auras, and so it was like easier for external energy to get closer to them within their energy and like bother them. So they were more aware of invasive energy than they would be normally because of the rips in their auras. If they're all repaired, it's a nice protective force field. So you know, you have better boundaries. So let's do aura repair. Long story short. So you can imagine all your auras out in front of you and just comb through them, a copy of all your auras in front of you, mini copy, and just use gold light from your hands and comb through all your auras. And you want to scan for rips. And when in doubt, assume you probably have a few. And you could repair them just by, you know, working them individually or working a whole section of all your auras individually. So like all the rips you have up top, do all those at once, for example. But what we're going to do is do all the rips at once using composite copy technique. So you imagine, create an image of a rip, and you say with your intention, okay, this rip represents all the rips that I have everywhere in my 17 auras. So this is your composite copy rip, right? And So then you're going to clean it out and repair it. And as you're doing that, that repairs all of those. So you have your composite copy rip and clean it out with sticky gold wax from your hands. So that sticks. Sticky gold wax is like an intention thing. Creating the gold light, but your intention is it sticks to everything that's not you and forms a big lump, right? So sticky gold wax, have it make a big lump and stick to whatever's not you in this rip, and then you lift all of it out at once. Angels hear you. Sticky gold wax, all that junk. So hard objects, invasive people, invasive beings, lift all that out at once. Angels, here you go. And then you can use gold light and get it really deep in there and repair so that things start to grow back. You say to angels, if there are any invasive beings in the way of this repair, can you please recycle them? All right. So that probably repaired most of the rips, but you may have 1 or 2 leftover rips. So we'll do it one more time faster, just to get the regular stubborn rips. So make 1 composite copy that represents any leftover rips and do the same process. So sticky gold wax, lift out all the junk. Angels, here you go. Sticky gold wax, lift out all that junk. Angels, here you go. Angels, if there are any invasive beings in the way of this repair, can you recycle them? And you get gold light as deep as you can in there. So then check the outer surface of all your auras. Light might have little things sticking out or teeny leaks, so just extra gold light. Yours. You don't want any leaks. You can redo your gold buffer zones. I have a video on that. If you search Janet Wright gold buffer zones, you'll find it. You can also heal your gold mesh spheres within your Wei Qi auras. They're just gold mesh spheres. There's 3 to each Wei Qi aura, and that's how the Wei Qi auras are filled up with gold light, that these gold mesh spheres keep generating gold light, right? If they're all ripped up and damaged, then they're not. So if you just imagine all your gold mesh spheres at the same time, the 15 middle ones, 15 innermost ones, 15 middle ones, 15 outermost ones. Yeah, just send the gold light wherever it needs to go. There's no gaps in your gold mesh spheres. Because those gold mesh spheres, not only do they fill up that Wei Qi aura with gold light, but they send it inward towards whatever meridian of your body is supposed to be nourished by that Wei Qi aura. So they're really useful. You don't want gaps in the gold. Alrighty. Check your groundings. There you have good flow all the way down. So creative rings are above your head, 1, 2, 3, and they generate gold light. They're awesome. And when they're damaged, it sucks. When they're damaged, it can feel kind of overwhelming. It can make it easier for people to accord you, and it sucks. So just make a copy out in front of you of your 3 gold creative rings and repair them and unblock them and melt cords. You can say, angels, if there are any invasive beings messing with my creative rings, can you please recycle them? One way to judge how happy your creative rings are is if the flaps are open or not. You want the flaps to be shut. So this is an image of a top-down image of any one of your 3 creative rings if the flaps are in an open, irritated state, which you don't want, right? So you want them to be shut, which would be just a smooth, round surface. But if there are too many pairs of cords going in it, it pops out the flap, puffs up with energy that's not yours. So just keep the check for flaps, and if there are open flaps, just melting cords. And say, angels, can you recycle any invasive beings in my creative rings? You can unblock above your creative rings because energy blocks make it easy for external energy to connect in and send its energy inward. So if you unblock, then there's less, so then your auras are more able to protect you. So unblock above your creative rings, melt away energy block. All right, good enough. Okay, so we're going to repair and unblock all your chakras at the same time because we can. So, all chakras meaning your major chakras, which you have 2 sets of 7 major chakras. Those are the ones along your spine. So your chakras 1 through 7 of your physical body, and then chakras 1 through 7 of your astral body. Those are your major chakras. Minor chakras is just every other chakra that you acupuncture points, chakras that keep energy flowing around your joints and through your limbs. And so you can make one image of a chakra. This is the basic chakra shape. But so you can make an image like that and say with your intention, okay, well, this represents all my chakras, major and minor chakras of my body and my spirit, all my chakras. And then go ahead and repair and unblock. And as you repair and unblock this composite copy chakra, then you're repairing and unblocking all your chakras. And of course, have the intention that you want to only do what's healthy and gentle to do right now. Lots of gold light. And these chakras do have flaps like the creative rings did around the round opening. So you want the flaps to not be puffed out, but they look like if they're puffed out. You don't want that. You want them to be shut, all shut, so that you have the round opening for your energy, but it's harder for people to the outer surface. So just melt away the cord going so that you're the angels, can you recycle any invasive beings that are messing with any of my chakras? And you can have hard objects that were thrown at a chakra that are stuck in there. Even like little acupuncture points can have little spears stuck in them that kind of really mess with the function of the chakra. So it would just look like, like I want to, so like, be stuck in there, right? And so you just use gold light and ease it out, and then you have the angels recycle any invasive beings that are there attracted to the leaking energy. And then once the beings are out of the way and the device is out of the way, you just can use gold light and it'll grow back and right? So you can just imagine any hard objects stuck in your composite copy chakra representing all your chakras. right? So any hard objects that are healthy and gentle to get rid of, stuck in any of your chakras, and just use sticky gold wax, have it stick to those hard objects, and lift out the hard objects all at once. Angels, here you go. Again, sticky gold wax, but stick to the hard objects stuck in your chakras that are healthy and gentle to get rid of. And just lift them all out at once. Angels, here you go. Angels, can you recycle any invasive beings in the way of this repair? Breath. And then go ahead and repair all the little gashes created by those hard objects. Then melt cords that are going into the chakras. Right? We could think about the theme. You can always think about themes when you're unblocking your chakras, you know. So if there are any blocks that are healthy and gentle to get rid of in your chakras, to help you have gentle realizations and unlock your subconscious wisdom in a healthy way, just lift out those blocks and you can melt them away with gold light. Lift out the blocks from your chakras, melt them away with gold light. Out the blocks, light, or blow them up, them out, and melt them away with gold light. All right. So now we'll do back ahead stuff, which is good karma windows, and then also base of skull. Base of skull points are acupuncture points back here. Good karma windows are a part of your astral body aura back here. Spirit. They look like triple frame windows, 1, 2, 3. So there's one in each one of your astral body aura. Wrap around. So the good karma windows are back here, straight back from the base of your skull. So just use gold light, and they're like back doors into that layer of your astral body aura. So you want to make sure they're in really good shape, like repaired, and so that only your good energy can come through, like your new positive change energy, as opposed to like, you know, some weird invasive being that wants to mess with your relative that because they're afraid of, just so repair and unblock all these good karma windows. Gold light. You can bring up red earth energy, soak them all in red earth energy. Right. You can say, angels, if there are any invasive beings connected to these good karma windows, can you please recycle them? So since these are basically back doors into that layer of your aura, you're having anxiety, double check, you can just repair all the good karma windows, but especially the first one. First layer, first chakra is courage, safety, and abundance. When you have an imbalance in it, you can feel anxiety, right? So that first, the one that's closest to your head, right? The first good karma window, gold light. Angels, can you recycle any invasive beings that were or are hooked into this? Yeah, good enough. All right, so base of skull point. Graphic for that. Oops, that's huh. Base of skull. Sorry about that. It's a cool graphic, but I pour it right. Be bigger. All right, so base of skull points are shown right there in the diagram. They're the ones that are 2 rows of dots in the diagram, one at the level of the top of the earlobe, one at the level of the bottom of the earlobe, right? So that's what I call base of skull, all those. And they're all chakras, right? They're this, and they fit in the meridian itself, right? And they help the energy flow through the meridian, and they generate it. That's all chakras have purpose. Create energy, and they also keep. So you want red is a good color energy wise for any of these chakras. I would still heal them with gold light, but you could bring up red earth energy if you want, like make a big red straight up from the core of the earth and ground straight up from the core of the earth. And then as you're working these points, also kind of fun. Oh, yay. Diagram. So the midline one right there, that's GV meridian, which will work later with all the, as a river, we'll work all the yang meridians, including the GV meridian at once as a river. But here, those base of skull points, so that in the 2 rows there, the midline, that's GV meridian. So that there's 2 dots close to each other, and then there's another one. So that's GV 15, 16, and 17. The those acupuncture points. 2 below that, though, which I just showed in the diagram under the word skull there, that's so it's numbered, based on the flow, right? So it's flowing upward. So then it's 13, 14. The GV 13 and 14 are right under the SK right there. So GV 13 and 14. So I was working those earlier today, and those are actually really cool. So we'll add 13 and 14. And then, of course, we'll do GV 15 through 20 because I always like to. So it just goes on, up to the top of your head, and GV 20 is the one. But so GV, again, governing vessel meridian, helps to regulate all your yang meridians. So it's very important. But GV 13 and 14, let's just unblock those. And you can take the pressure off any energy center by combing through the aura and melting the energy blocks in the aura, right? Because external energy can latch onto the block and send itself in more, and then latch onto another block, send itself in more, right? So if you want to take the pressure off of GV 13 and 14, so then you look for blocks right behind 4 blocks, just meaning in the inner parts of the auras right there, and then peripheral in the outer part. Unblock there as well as, right? And so comb outward from GV 13 and 14 and find the peripheral blocks and the 4 blocks, and just angels, can you recycle any invasive beings hooked into these blocks? And then melt away the people out of these blocks, words from people, and then melt the block. cells with gold light. So more on GV 13 and 14. So since we know the direction of flow is upward right there with the GV meridian right there. So that means as the energy is flowing into, say, GV 13, GV 14, it can get clogged right here. A chakra kind of sifts out the blocks to some extent, and so they clog up, right? It's right at the, as it's about to go in, the blocks can back up. So especially unblock the bottoms of GV 13 and GV 14. And again, find the blocks behind in the auras behind GV 13 and 14 and the core blocks and the peripheral. The angels can recycle any invasive beings hooked into these blocks. And then melt cords from people go into the blocks and then melt the blocks. Breaths. Okay, and then so 15, 16, 17, those are the base of skull points for GV meridian right there, GV 15, 16, 17. 15, 18. And 20. Well, she has so many dots. But anyway, 15, 16, 17 are the base of skull point ones for GV meridian. And then 18, 19, and then 20s in the unblock the first opening of each of those, especially first opening of GV 15, 16, 17, 18. You can lift out the blocks in that are healthy and gentle to get rid of from GV 13, 14 all the way up to GV. Just lift them out. Angels can recycle any invasive beings hooked into this stuff. And just hold light, melt. Rest, relax. All right, good job, good job. All right. Well, let's see. Good job, good job. All right. Okay. So I already explained this before the healing started when I was talking about today's concepts and techniques. But now we're going to heal little parts of you, little versions of you that most likely subconsciously are repressing or holding back positive realizations that you could have. So inner truths that are in your subconscious that would really be good for you to know right now and stabilizing and helpful. So it's not too much, right? So we'll be sure to work on the parts of you that are holding back what you need to know and what's healthy for you to know right now. So that's right. So just imagine these little mini parts of you out in front of you. So they would look like you if you want, little versions of you. But these are the parts of you that are maybe accidentally or just subconsciously, for whatever reason, holding you back, like pushing down into your subconscious, keeping subconscious realizations that would be really healthy and gentle and positive for you to know, right? Okay, so imagine those parts of you that are, confused and just repressing in an unhealthy way. And just be comforting, be nice, be non-judgmental, and just give those parts of you a healing. Like, hey, it's okay. You deserve a healing. Use gold light from your hands to heal these parts of you. And you can do like a tricolor soak with these parts of you. Bring up red earth energy straight from the core of the earth. Soak these parts of you in red earth energy. Bring that down. Soak these parts of you in orange earth energy. And bring that down. Soak these parts of you in yellow earth energy straight from the core of the earth. Keep using gold light. And you can say if there are any parts of you left over, because generally what happens is these parts of you, when they get fully healed, they just dissolve and you get your energy back, and it's not a separate part of you that's stuck anymore. So, but if there are any parts left over still, just say, angels, can you help me finish healing these parts of me? Then your angels will. So take a couple deep breaths, breathe into your fingers, breathe into your toes, breathe into your spine. All right, good job, good job. Very good job. Woohoo! Okay, so this is another thing I explained before we started. So we're going to first ask the angels for extra angel protection for things that you care about, people you care about, possessions you care about, your property, your pets, your loved ones, all that good stuff, right? So that then in case you have some of your life force attempting to protect all those things and all those people and your pets and everything, then you can call back your energy from trying to do that, because angels are good at protecting and people are not good at protecting what's not them. Like with their life force, it doesn't it's just like imbalancing, and it kind of ties your nonsense. So that's the gist of it. So first you can, be grounded. Think of your grounding, think of your connection to the core of the earth. Take a deep breath and stay here, maybe touch your fingers or wiggle your toes, but you can be aware, okay, what do you care about? That's not you. Is it your house, your apartment? It belongs in your house or your apartment. It's your property, if you own property. Is it your car, if you have a car? Is it loved ones that you have, children, adults? What would you like to protect? And maybe you're trying in kind of a lopsided way to do it with your own life force. And then go ahead and you can ask your angels for extra protection for all those things. Angels, and be specific. I would recommend that you be specific and say angels, not like, oh, universe or anything, because there are things that aren't that respectful out in the universe. So I always like to only deal with angels because I know they're going to be super altruistic and easy. Just deal with them. So angels, can you please protect, all my loved ones? Angels, can you please, you can say bless and protect. So, throw in that extra. Why not? Angels, please bless and protect all my loved ones. Angels, please protect all my possessions as much as is possible. Angels, please protect all my pets and bless all my pets. Help them to be as happy and healthy as possible. Okay. So now you did that. You can just kind of recognize that that is happening. Angels are big. They're able to protect. They're something they're good at. So then now what you could do is you could call back life force that you have that is sort of attempting to be angelic, which is not angelic. You're just wasting your energy and potentially, imbalancing yourself. So you can use a big gold magnet create a big 3D gold object, like a sphere or, like a U-shaped magnet, like in the cartoons, or a big cube or a pyramid, whatever you like, a gold object, and have it be a magnet with your intention, and use it to call back your life force that is in an unhealthy way attempting to protect things that are not you, right? So just call back your life force that is, in an unhealthy way trying to protect things outside of yourself. All that energy back and use gold light to clean that energy off of yours, and say, angels, can you clean all this off? Make sure it's all just me. And all right, good job. Pretty simple, huh? But the benefit of that, there are a lot of benefits to that. I mean, angels are good at protecting. So by asking your angels to protect all those things, it's better off for your pets and your loved ones and your property. But also then it frees up your energy, helps you to be more balanced. So good thing. So I explained this before we started. We're going to heal parts of you. You can think of them as inner wounds. You can think of them as mini yous, however you want to think of them. But there are parts of you or inner wounds that you might feel more during any change, but maybe especially if things positive happen. And so it could make you reluctant to allow change in your life. reluctant to have positive realizations and make, new healthy decisions, move forward with things. So we don't want that, right? Because it's good to have positive change. Obviously, by definition, it's going to really help you, right? So let's heal those wounds or those parts of you. So then there's nothing holding you back. So we're going to do it in a couple steps though, because there could be invasive beings in the way or invasive people, maybe on purpose or accidentally, right? So you can imagine these parts of you. Imagine them either as wounds, wounded parts of you, or as little mini yous that are wounded, however works for your head. And then say, angels, can you recycle any invasive beings that are in the way of this healing? Breath while your angels do that. So then now, just use gold light and melt away cords from people. And with the gold light, wash away people's energy out of these parts of you, wounded parts of you, or these inner wounds. So just use cold light and melt away everybody else's energy, melt away their cords, because you want to be able to heal these wounds as much as possible. And if someone else's energy is in the way, then, so good. So just melt all that out of the way. So then now you have good access. There's no beings, there's no people in the way. So go ahead, to the extent that's healthy and gentle, use lots of gold light. You can even do a tricolor soak with these parts of you or these wounds: red earth energy, orange earth energy, yellow earth energy, lots of gold light. And just allow these parts of you or these inner wounds to become whole and healed. You can even say, it's okay. It's okay. Time for me to heal. I can heal. All right. You're not forcing yourself, but you're just saying, hey, it is okay. I can fully heal. I can fully heal. I can be whole. I can be healed. You can say, angels, can you finish up healing these parts of me? Breathing, you're grounding. All right, good job. Woohoo. Woohoo, you're a rock star. I'm just taking notes so that later I can make chapters and write a healing summary. So within a day, there will be video chapters that you'll see at the bottom of the video, and there will be a healing outline in the comment section. Okay, so I talked about this in the before the healing started, in probably a separate chapter. It'll be talking about GV and CV meridian and balance. So right now, what we're going to do is we're going to imagine a river that is that represents your CV meridian, which goes up the midline of the front, ends in the tip of the tongue, starts in the crotch, goes up the midline of the front, ends in the tip of the tongue, and conception vessel meridian, CV meridian, and it manages all your yin meridians. So you have 12 regular meridians, 6 of them are yin, 6 are yang. So it helps to manage those yin meridians. And so, but not only are we going to work the CV meridian by imagining it as a river and unblocking it and nourishing it, but we're going to also directly, the river also represents all those yin meridians. So let's do that. So you can imagine it as a river, as a beach, as a garden, whatever rocks your world. I'm going to do it as a river. But so you imagine a river that represents basically 7 different meridians, your CV meridian, and then the 6 regular meridians that are yin meridians. And just lift out what's healthy and gentle to melt away as far as blocks in all those. And just go light and gently and gradually just melt all those blocks. And you can use cold light. You can use red earth energy. Bring up red earth energy and just nourish this river representing all 7 of those meridians. And again, you can lift out the blocks that are healthy and gentle to get rid of in all these 7 meridians. Lift out the blocks. And you can say angels, if there are any invasive beings hooked into this junk, can you recycle them? Pull from the blocks, melt the blocks. All right, and then again, red earth energy, bring red earth energy up to nourish basically all those 7 meridians. Nourish the river representing all those 7 meridians. The CV meridian and the yin meridians. And you can look at too, like, sometimes there's you can imagine it as like an object, but it's just some kind of a block. Maybe it's a dumped energy or a device or a manipulation from somebody, but there could be something in this yin river that's just like suppressing or depleting your yin meridians. So just look and see if there's some suppressing or depleting object and just lift it out. That's healthy and gentle to get rid of right now. And surround it in gold light and lift it out. You can give it to your angels. Angels, here you go. Yeah, just repair the river, representing all the yin meridians. You don't want any leaks. Light and repair the river. So we can do that again. And again, only what's healthy and gentle to do right now. Lift out any object that represents whatever's suppressing or depleting your yin meridians and your yin organ systems. Lift all that junk out. And you can say, angels, can you recycle any invasive beings hooked into this stuff? And then melt cords from people going into all this junk. And you can blow up the junk or just keep melting it with gold light till it's and you can, if you want, you can get rid of that image of the yin river there and just make healing energy flowers to nourish yourself afterwards. So make energy healing flowers, as many as you need to nourish and balance yourself after having done that, out of universal healing energy. So it can be gold and or rainbow colors. And then just say, angels, can you check my flowers? And give them to yourself or wherever they need to. right? Make more energy healing flowers for yourself, as many as you need. Angels, can you check my flowers? And let them go wherever they need. All right, good enough. Now we're going to do the same thing, but opposite. We will do the GV meridian and all the meridians. So one river representing the GV meridian as it starts in the crotch, goes up the midline of the back, hooks around, ends in the roof of the mouth. So that's the GV meridian. It's an extraordinary meridian, like a special meridian, and it helps to regulate all your yang meridians. So you have 12 regular meridians. Of those, half of them are yang meridians. So imagine one river that represents the GV meridian and all the other yang meridians, and just lift out any blocks that are healthy and gentle to clear right now from all those meridians. Lift out those blocks, and you can say, angels, you recycle any invasive beings hooked into this junk, and then melt people's energy and cords away from these blocks. Okay, so you have again that river. One river, we could call it your yang river, that represents your GV meridian and all your yang meridians and yang organ systems, your yang parts of you. And just lift out all the blocks that are healthy and gentle to get rid of right now. The angels, can you recycle any invasive beings hooked into this junk? Melt away people's cords from all of it. More gold light so you can melt it all. Breath. Feeling weird at all, just, take a break. Just your grounding. Come through your chakras along your spine. Through your grounding and head. All your aura. You could take a moment. We'll do more of the Yang River, but we'll take a moment and clear STEBs. So STEB stands for stubborn triggered energy blocks. So energy blocks that are still triggered even though we're doing lots of clearing techniques. So put copies of any energy blocks that are triggered for you on any level, bothering you consciously or subconsciously, out in front of you. Make piles. Say, angels, the healthy and gentle to clear all this right now. Angels, can you recycle any invasive beings hooked into this stuff? All right, and then you can do the rest. So just bring up red earth energy, soak this pile of stuck energy, stubborn triggered energy blocks, soak the pile in red earth energy. Use gold light, melt away cords from people going into all these blocks. Gold light, and just let the blocks melt away fully or blow them up. All right, and then we will just do a teeny bit more of the Yang River before we something slightly different. So you imagine that Yang River again, the one that represents 7 different meridians, the GV meridian plus the 6 meridians that are Yang meridians, regular. Of the 12 regular ones, 6 of them are Yang. And so this river represents those meridians and those organ systems that they nourish, the whole thing. So your Yang, anything Yang you have in your body or your spirit. Right, so that's represented by this river. And just use gold light and just get a sense of the flow and melt everybody out of it. You have invasive beings in it. You could imagine those like little tornadoes, and just say, angels, can you recycle any invasive beings affecting these rivers, affecting this river? You may have a family member that isn't so happy with this yang side of you. So you can imagine like a big gold force field all around the river so that it's really super challenging for anybody to affect the river. That's not you. Right? So just a big gold force field around your yang river. Okay, and then you can imagine, next to that your yin river and then make a big gold force field around your yin river. So it's really hard for anyone to impact, anyone external to, invasively affect your yin river. So that was imagining gold protective force fields around each of your yang, each river, your yang river and your yin river. So now we can think about the balance of the two and how hopefully, ideally, we want them to be equally strong so that they can balance each other out and support each other together properly. Yang aspect of you and the yin aspect, the yang meridians and organ systems and the yin meridian. So I'm going to imagine it like that the two rivers form a circle. But you can imagine it however you want. Two gardens that are next to each other that are sort of that work together, or two beaches, or whatever imagery that you enjoy. Right? And you can just imagine the two, but like I said, I'll do it as, a circle, like two rivers that connect to form a circle. And just see, so one's your yang river, one's your yin river, and just see it's like one way stronger than the other, or one too weak, or whatever. And just feel, if you feel like one is too suppressed, you heal that one a little extra. And then if one is too blocked, heal that a little extra, and just keep using gold light. You can bring up red earth energy. Red is always good for any body meridians, any body organs, any like that. So you could bring up red earth energy to soak both these rivers. Gold light, and you can lift out the blocks to the extent that's healthy and gentle. Lift out any blocks in your yin or your yang rivers, and just lift out those blocks and melt them away. Lift out the blocks. And think about, the balance may not be perfect between the two, but think about them working together. Think about them balancing each other and helping each other out. Because sometimes you can be overly aware of what's not working, and it's not as strengthening as if you can also be aware of what is working. So as you're aware of the yang and your yin aspects, and are they supporting each other and strengthening each other, just notice, to some extent they're balancing each other and helping each other already, even if it's not perfect. So just be aware of that and be grateful for that. Think about that. Think about how that helps you mentally, psychologically, socially, physically, with your physical health. What helps your abundance, your sexuality. As you're healing both rivers, about how they, to the extent that they are harmonious and supportive of each other. Well, that is. Couple deep breaths. Breathe into, all your auras, your chakras, your body parts, your grounding. Let the earth energy from the core of the earth come up and nourish you. And again, just be aware of what's going right. There's a lot in your energy system that's working well, in your physical body that's working well, in your mind, your heart, your emotions. Take a deep breath. Be aware of what's working well. Be aware of the strength that you do have. breath. You could even use some affirmations if you want, like, you can make up any ones you want. Obviously, these words aren't, what you have to say, but you could say something like, each day I'm getting stronger and stronger. Each day, through my actions and my thoughts, I'm becoming more and more strong, more and more in balance. Deep breath. All right. Pretty cool. Good job. Whew. You're awesome. Woohoo. Let's see butterflies. Yay. Good job. Good job. Good job. Okay, so that was nice. I hope it was nice for you. So let's wrap up the healing. We'll just do a little comb through, a little extra clearing and healing. Okay. So empty USPs, we haven't done that in a while. So USP stands for unprocessed stress pots. So it's a visual representation of kind of like your headspace to deal with things. Sometimes you just can't deal with another thing going on because you're full already. Your brain's just too full, and it's an energy thing, and you can imagine it and undo that feeling of, just being full in a bad way. So you can imagine them as pots. If you don't like that imagery of pots, cooking pots like a big soup pot, you can imagine them however you want. It's just a visual tool, right? But imagine a whole bunch of pots that represent your ability, your sort of working space to handle stress. So it's like stress and problems that you haven't quite figured out yet, and they're like in your brain still. So it could be sort of cluttering things. So just your brain. So just imagine all your unprocessed stress pots and see, are they full? Are they half full? Are some of them overflowing? Are some of them so full that you're pretending they're not there anymore? Imagine all of them and just check them out and use gold light and melt away the contents. So you're catching up on processing all that stuff. So it doesn't mean that you literally solve every problem, but on an energy level, you kind of get it off your workspace. You clear some of it, and then it's not like stuck in your face all the time. So just use gold light and melt away all the contents of your unprocessed stress pots. Catch up on everything. You can use red earth energy, and you can melt cords from people out of these pots, because sometimes if someone's courting you so much, it'll be like they're courting the pots, and then the pots can't. So melt away everybody's energy out so that all the pots are nice and empty. That way you're ready for all this processing space that's just ready to handle things that are, maybe bigger, right? So just empty all those pots. Good job. So you can get rid of that. So now we'll just clear STEBs again, which we've already done. So it'll be easy. STEBs stands for stubborn triggered energy blocks. So energy blocks that are still triggered, even though we've done 18 different things for them. So it's easy though, don't worry. So you just make copies out in front of you of any energy blocks you still have within you that haven't yet cleared, but they're bothering you in some way. They're triggered subconsciously, right? So imagine just piles of these blocks out in front of you. Say, angels, is it healthy and gentle to clear all this right now? That way your angels will check the piles and take away something if it's too much. So then anything left over is okay to clear right now. So then a second question is, angels, please recycle any invasive beings that are hooked into this stuff. Breath while your angels do that. And then now you can do the rest. So just lots of gold light and red earth energy. Melt everybody out of these blocks. Right? And then that way, the more gold light you use, the more they will fully melt. And you could also blow them up once you've gotten everybody out of them. And if some of them doesn't clear, just wrap them up in gold light, give them to your angels. Angels, can you help me with these? All right, so then flower healing. We've already done a little of that actually, but we'll do more. So make energy healing flowers for yourself. If you don't like the flower image, make them into cars or gift boxes, whatever you like. But just make energy healing flowers made of universal healing energy, tuned to just the right vibration that you need right now. Feel nourished, to feel supported, to feel in balance, to have your gentle realizations and know more of your subconscious wisdom. So we could call them gentle realization flowers, right? So just take as many gentle realization flowers as you could possibly want. And then, because we'll have angels check them, so don't worry, there won't be too many. So make your gentle realization flowers. The angels, can you check my flowers? And give them to you. Okay, so let's do that again. Make gentle realizations flowers. Angels, can you check my flowers? Give them to yourself. One more time. Make gentle realization flowers. Angels, can you check my flowers? And give them to yourself. Take deep breaths. Let them go wherever they need to go. Right? Make an image out in front of you and your grounding, your connection to the core of the earth. Going through your groundings. You have two, one for your body, one for your spirit. Home all the way down to the core of the earth. Melt away any blocks so that you can release kind of like a fast flowing waterfall. All the way in the back, in the center, in the sides, in the front of your grounding. You want fast downward flow. Melt away all the blocks. All right. So as we wrap up, you can ask your angels. Angels, can you help me finish up this healing? Angels, can you help me have gentle realizations of my inner truths? Angels, can you help me unlock my subconscious wisdom in a stable and gentle way? All right. Good job. Good job. Woohoo. That's a healing. You're amazing. Woohoo. Yay. Okay. So so the healing's done, and I'm going to take a break. You can take a break too, and use the restroom if you need to, and I'll come back and turn the camera back on, and I'll do stretching for a minute, just in case that inspires you to do some stretching, gentle stretching, whatever is gentle for you and your body. And then we'll do a little chit chat where you could text chat how you're feeling after the healing. If you're a newbie, you can text chat anything you want, including, if you want me to take a look at your grounding or something. But if you do want that, and your name is not obvious from your YouTube ID, your first and last name, then just put your first and last initials with your comment, because first and last name does help me read more accurately. So first and last initials is good enough. And if it serves your privacy. And if you know my work and you did want me to look at something, please A, keep it brief, but also B, have a self-assessment first of what your read on your issue is first. And then I'll just comment on what I think about your read on your issue is, so I'll validate your assessment, because that's much more empowering if you're practicing reading yourself. So I want to encourage that, and then I'll give you feedback. Hope that makes sense. But let's do a break first. I will get rid of the camera and give you some beach vibes background, so that maybe that's nice while I'm not here. Mm. Mm. Okay. I'll be back in a minute. I'm back. Now, if you want, you can do stretching that is gentle for your body. I'm not a teacher at all in stretching or body stuff, so do your own thing. A minute, if you want. Okay, I'm back. Hello, hello. Oh, let's see. Gonna look and see what chat comments I haven't read yet. Thanks again for everybody's help figuring out my sound issues. Really appreciate it. You guys are very supportive and patient with me. I know for a fact it's like anyone who's not especially patient is no longer my client. Most likely. Ugh. Let's see. A lot of comments about sound. Big girl microphone. I love that expression. Thank you for the healing, Janet. You're welcome. Someone says thank you, Janet. Someone says hi, Janet. Morning, Janet. Hello to all you guys. Thanks for checking in on the live stream. Someone says, thank you, Janet. During the healing, I realized I really needed to work on my inner wounds. So I healed my 5th and 4th layers, feeling more protected and lighter right now. That's nice. Good for you. Cool. Yeah, inner wounds can be in various aura layers, like 2nd layer also would be a good one for that. Emotions. 1st layer, you know, that's why you could just use your intuition though, like you did and picked 5th and 4th layers. Sounds like it was very smart of you. but they can be in any aura layer, which is why I didn't mention a specific aura layer and we just imagine them out in front of you and heal them. But, you know, you could obviously use your intuition and pick an aura layer that needs extra help. So good for you. Oh, so thank you, Janet. Feeling so relaxed. Nice to have this since work has been stressing me out. I've been having a really hard time applying for jobs and I've been rejected from a bunch recently. Yeah, see, that's the nature of job applications. When I look on my path, I seem really confused. It seems like affirmations will help me with applying and confidence. Did I read that right? You know, I was thinking about, because you mentioned this on your survey too. I was thinking about what about imagining getting the job? You know, getting any job that you're applying for, just imagine getting it. Like, not like, you know, therefore you're going to get every job that you imagine you're going to get, you know, but I think if you imagine getting a job, it can, and then as you do that, you unblock, you know, and ground. You know, you can get used to feeling that level of satisfaction. And I think it can help with manifesting if it's not so foreign to you. The idea that someone would actually say, yes, we want to interview. Yes, we want to give you this job. When can you start? You know, I think, because you've worked in your current job for so long, and also, I think for you, there's like this huge difference between, like in your brain, there's this huge difference between for-profit jobs and non-profit jobs, even though, I mean, in some ways that's true, but in some ways that's not true. So I think, you know, that's what I was thinking. I think your angel showed it to me. Just, you know, imagine getting the job, you know, work on that, you know, because yes, okay, so it comes to you this sense that you won't get the job. And so you don't even want to apply. And it always comes to you. So, you know, it's not actual intuition, probably, you know, it's, and, but also one thing I would say is, in your fifth layer, fifth chakra in your throat and fifth layer is inner voice, right? And it does look like, I think it's from back when you actually were like in your present organization, but you were moving departments and you had a boss that was like, he didn't want you to move to the other department. And so he didn't even want you to apply for a job opening. And so he put this big chunk of energy in your aura layer saying, you're not going to get the job. And it's in your fifth layer and your fourth layer because it's kind of big. And so you kind of hit that. It's still there. And so you kind of hit it every time you're thinking of applying and you're like, oh, I'm not going to get the job. I'm not. And you kind of hear it in your head because it's in the inner voice fifth layer. So I would say look for energy blocks that cause that sort of inner voice. I'm not going to get the job. I'm not going to get the job repeating pattern thing. And I mean, it could be fifth good karma window, you know, like a back door into your inner voice space that needs repair. But for you, you're pretty good with that lately. So it's not fifth good karma window. I would just say, yeah, energy blocks in your fourth and fifth layers that say there's no way you're getting the job, you know, from different people and different lifetimes and different whatever. And then imagine getting the job, you know, and it could be that specific job that you're about to apply for. That could be nice. But also in general, you know, maybe just every day, just imagine you getting the job. What's that going to feel like? Like, how does it feel in your body? How do your auras feel? How does your grounding feel? What's your level of gratitude getting the job? Getting a, you know, good job that you want. Yeah. So I hope that helps. As far as affirmations, I think, yeah, that's a similar thing of like, you know, setting your energy. So yeah, I think it's sort of an extension of what I was saying. So it's kind of the same thing, similar. Um, I don't think you're confused on your path. You do look confused, you know, like you're like turning around, you're not like looking forward. Um, why that is. It seems like you're looking for what's wrong. Like, what are you doing wrong? Um, but the thing is, with jobs, with many things in life, it just doesn't work out until it does. You know, so, you know, say it's not the job meant for you, you know, so you just don't get the job, you know, over and over and over until you do get the job because that one's meant for you, you know? So, because you've already asked your angels, like, I don't want to get a job that would be bad for me, you know, so they're helping you. But that means you're going to get a lot of no's. Um, but yeah, I don't think that something's wrong with you. You know, it seems like you're kind of like, that's why you're looking around rather than looking ahead. You're just like, something's wrong. There's something I have to fix, you know, but it doesn't seem like that. It just seems like right place, right time, right resume, right cover letter. It just all clicks, you know, but until it's the right one and the right time, it just doesn't click, you know, and so you just have to keep practicing until it's the real one. So I hope that makes sense. So yeah, accurate read. Someone says, thank you, Janet. Been a bit anxious over here. Starting my first chemo treatment on Monday. Angels agree treatment is correct path. Yes, nervous nonetheless. Well, it's funny because I kind of want to congratulate you for your first chemo treatment. Um, I don't know why, because it's like you would think, you know, everyone's supposed to be like, oh my goodness, you know, how terrible. Good luck, you know? But it seems like for some reason your angels just show me it's like, you know, like when a runner runs a race and they run through the finish line and the ribbon breaks and everything. It seems like that for your first chemo treatment. For some reason it seems like a personal victory of some sort. Um so congratulations. um Lorenzo, can you put his comment? I gotta text my husband something. Lorenzo. Okay. uh, let's see. So, but yeah, as far as nervous, um, you could do like a full earth energy soak, you know, just bring up earth energy, soak all your aura layers, all your chakras in like a red earth energy or orange or yellow. But you could do red, you know, just like really just to kind of soak out the jitters, you know. Um, you have a couple energy blocks that family members are courting. And so that's what gives it that jitters. Well, the energy blocks are in your first layer. So that's what gives it that sort of supercharge, you know, jittery is that people are courting first layer energy blocks. So then their energy gets in, it kind of makes it like that. So you could just work on look for energy blocks in your first layer of your aura, especially ones that people are courting, and just keep melting the cords and melting the blocks. You could unblock your legs more because you're kind of sitting on top of your physical legs as opposed to in them. And so if you're in them, then they'll bring up a lot more earth energy to calm your first chakra better. So yeah, first layer, first chakra, legs, red earth energy soaks. So congratulations. You can do it. All right. Someone says, hi, Jen, and thank you for this healing. You're welcome. I've been talking to a guy, and you give his first and last initials, thank you. But I've been having really bad anxiety when I try to assess if he's long-term compatible. Is this my dad in my space? It seems like your angels want you to just, like, because you're like, I don't want to date anyone who's not long-term compatible. While your angels are like, it triggers too much sometimes. Like, sometimes just date somebody for a little bit. They're not saying date him for 5 years before you look at if he's long-term compatible, but they're like, maybe try 5 weeks, you know? Just, you know, be in the moment, you know, see if you like him, you know? Just like, you know, because they're like, sometimes you know too much, you know, just like be innocent and enjoy 5 weeks with this guy. They're like, he's angel approved for 5 weeks, no matter what. So just have your 5 weeks. Don't even ask yourself, you're going to anyway, but try not to ask yourself, you know, is he long-term compatible? You know, is he the one? You know, just like, just have your 5 weeks, you know, and then you can start asking, okay, is he long-term compatible? Is he angel approved for more time for me dating him? Is he not? You know, all that stuff. But so if that makes sense, it just looks like um you're kind of like um it just seems like your angels want you to just be in the moment and, you know, have that innocence of seeing how things go. I hope that makes sense. Is it your dad in your space? Sort of. But it's kind of that you're, if you weren't like, you know, kind of harshing the innocence of the moment, then your dad wouldn't be in your I hope that makes sense. Have some innocent fun. um Someone says, thank you so much. I feel like my energy is protected, but have been holding a big gold shield. Reminds me of Archangel Michael. But I don't feel like I should be holding it. Feels like a gift, though. When I read myself, it doesn't feel like it belongs to me since it doesn't feel comfortable. Interesting. See? Go, go. I'm so proud of clients when they read things. Rather than being like, Janet, what's going on? So that's wonderful that you read it. Okay. So when I read myself, it doesn't feel like it belongs to me since it doesn't feel comfortable. I do feel like it's been helping a bunch at work this past week, though. Okay. So part of reading yourself is knowing what questions to ask. Like, ask questions that are easily readable and sort of foundational. Like, ask the simplest, most foundational questions first. So, like, okay, so you find something in your space, you're like, is it mine or is it not mine? That would be a basic question. Like, did I create this? Or did someone else create it? Did an invasive being create it? Did a human being create it? Did I create it? So, did you create that gold shield? No. Did your angels create it? No. They all shake their head no. Did your mother create it? No. Did your father create it? Yeah, it seems like it's from your dad. I don't know if you have multiple dad figures in your life or what. I don't remember any of that. But it seems like some kind of a dad figure. So it could be a grandpa, it could be an uncle, it could be somebody that wasn't terrible. So whatever male authority figure you had that was not terrible when you were growing up. But yeah, it's not yours and you don't need it. It would be better to create like a gold flowy boundary wall in your space, you know, so that you're not holding something rigid that's not yours, that was made by someone else. But, you know, it's not the worst thing in the world. If you wanted to temporarily keep it, your angels kind of give you an eye roll, but they'll put up with it. They're like, you're doing more unhealthy things than that. So if that's the most unhealthy thing you're doing, it's not so bad. They're kind of picking their battles with you. If that makes sense. Interesting question. Funny. Funny, funny. Um, so let's see. Someone says, "Hi, Janet. Thanks for the healing as always. You're welcome. I'm having issues with my ability to focus and sleep. Two big things. My assessment, there you go, good job, is that I am constantly being whacked or corded with many. Anything I can do to improve." Oop, you stopped short. Also read what you can do to improve next time. Yeah, reading what you can do about a situation is another good step to do. But anyway, I'll work with that. You did some self-assessment. That's nice. Ability to focus and sleep. Is it from wax and cords? It looks like you have this big white snowball in the front of your aura, like at the level of your in front of my favorite image, the biker shorts. Oh, I love that image for some silly reason. I think because it blends the worlds of like working out and energy work. So, so yeah, work your biker shorts area, but right in front of there too. It's like, I think it's just energy blocks, but then people's energy gets to the energy blocks. Maybe it's a couple invasive beings too, because it kind of spins, which is a weird thing. So I think it's some invasive beings and some people cording energy blocks, mostly in your first layer, right in front of your biker shorts. So you could work all the biker shorts meridians if you want, but I think just the whole area at once. You don't have to think about the meridians. Just think about chakras, meridians, everything. And just unblock in front. Like so, peripheral blocks and the core block. Peripheral blocks are like in your auras further out in front of that area, and then the core blocks are closer to the body in that area. And just, think, okay, well, here are the blocks. Are there invasive beings getting in through those blocks? Yes. Angels, can you recycle those invasive beings? And then just keep running gold light through those blocks. And, melt the people, melt the cords, and let the blocks melt. I just did a little. But, so that's the idea, but I would just keep doing that. It seems like it's mostly there. And then two, you have some Wei Qi auras that keep getting damaged. They're not damaged right now, but they keep getting like punched through right in that area. Like all your auras should be whole right there, but like maybe about half of them get punched through, whacked. So then they're not fully there. It's like a big valley, right? Belly area. So then it's much easier for invasive in there. So going forward, right now just unblock those areas because the auras are whole, but then later just double check feeling of like over vulnerable. Hope that makes also GV20 is nice. for like mental clarity and calmness and stuff. It seems like your GV20 gets really like you get some rips up here too, like up. Seems like it's 2 parts in front of your tummy here and unblock here, and then if you really can't focus, then probably your creative rings. Because for some people, it's back here that gets damaged also, but for you lately, it just seems like it's a little bit up here and more extra unblocking and. But you don't have to spend 8 years on it. You know, if you're feeling like not very motivated, just tell yourself, okay, I'm going to do it for a minute for the belly and a minute up here, and that's it. You know, just kind of talk yourself into it. Okay, 2 minutes, I can do it. You know. So I hope that helps. So yeah, good job on the self-assessment because it's true. Wax and cords, yes. So I don't think it matters if it's constant. I mean, the cords are constant and the energy coming through the cords is constant, but the wax, they more just did the job and ripped everything open and then it was still open. So I don't think the wax have been constant. They've been significant though. And they've done damage, and then it seems like when you get your aura damage, you're kind of like you get caught up in this, oh really? You're like, I don't want to fix my. Are you kidding? Really? What? Like, like some kind of inner child, don't make me eat my vegetables headspace you get caught up in. So it's hard for you to have the discipline to say, all right, I know aura repair. It's like incredibly easy, and I'm going to do it now. You know? Like, you get caught in some, like, victim energy about it, like oh, it's so hard and it's so annoying and who wants to do that, you know. So that's, I mean, I understand that's easy to get caught up in when your space is damaged, but maybe like try to, you know, brainwash yourself while you're still okay and be like, okay, next time I'm just going to do 2 minutes, I'm going to do it, I'm not going to be a whiny, you know, I'm not going to give up on myself, you know, something like that. I hope that helps. We'll see. You can let me know in your survey if it helped. If next time you're able to talk yourself into repairing. Also, you could do that little short video, angel assisted conflict resolution flowers, to see if you can get it looks like a family member to stop whacking you, at least temporarily. You could give them energy healing flower, like make energy healing flowers for that family member, and then give them to your angels and say, angels, can you tune these for that family member, and then only deliver them if it's going to help the situation. You know, so you don't have to do the video. You can just do what I said. Here's the video for you. But maybe that would be good too, because maybe then they'll take a break for at least a couple days. Give you a breather. All right, hope that helps. Someone says, thanks, Janet. A sleepy, half napping. M-I in 7 through 1. Mom out of space feels like mostly. How is my spouse? Mention his initials. Oh, da 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 da. Yes, you're in all your chakras. Right now. Yes, your mom is out of your space right now. She's giving you a little bit of a side eye. She's like, you like that? But yeah, it seems like I don't know if you did it consciously, but it seems like you did give her conflict resolution flowers. And she likes them, so that helped her to cut it out for a little. So, yeah, your angels say, you know, what you could do afterwards, if you have time, is just take an actual nap. But you could too, like, do again those heal far off parts of you. When we did grounding towards the start of the healing, in the grounding section, we did heal far off parts of you. After the grounding, we healed far off parts of you. You could do that real quickly. It seems like that could be nice. There are some real far off parts that some are pretty recent and some are like from a long time ago. That could be nice to do. Help you to clear the fog a little. Your spouse is doing well. He's going forward on his path. He seems to be a little more self-assertive after this healing. Bringing in some new energy. He likes the yin yang balance thing, at least on a spirit level. Someone says, yes, that sounds like my ex-boss. So this was from before when I was looking at those images of, you know, you're not going to get the job. Don't bother. I'll clear that out and we'll work on inner voice. Really excited to do this work. I like the idea of imagining getting the job and working blocks there. Yeah. Yeah, it's funny because sometimes it's like what your mind can be too, I mean, I'll change the heading. So problem solving can be a good thing, you know, and in self-healing, problem solving can be good, like, you know, clearing energy blocks, repairing things. You kind of hunt for what's not right in your space and then you repair it and then you can have a better day because of it. But sometimes, you know, if it's not balanced out by the positive, you know, maybe enjoying music or going for a walk or even just having a more positive based, you know, affirmation thing or, you know, being aware of your space and what's working, then it can, you know, it can be an imbalance. So, you know, and in a situation like applying for jobs where there's so much inherent rejection before you get the right acceptance externally, then it's nice to focus more on what's right, you know, what you're doing well, sure, what you could do better, but, you know, with that sort of gratitude, like things are good, or you get the good vibes going. I hope that makes sense. I've been drawn to working the communication set from May 24th. So this tracks. I need to work inner voice. It says, thank you so much, Janet. On my spiritual path, it looks like I'm walking forward, swinging my arms, not slow, but also not fast / determined. Seems okay since it's too early to wrap things up at my job yet. Should I be walking faster? Thanks for my angel advice. Oh, you're, it seems like you're dragging some stuff behind you. So if you melt that, then that'll speed up the pace a little. Yeah. So it's not a terrible pace, but yeah, your angels just show me there's stuff you're dragging behind you, you know, burdens. It seems like there's some clients that you're seeing that maybe won't. I mean, you're not gonna leave there for a while, so why are they already. Yeah, they're just triggered about you know, transitioning your practice to seeing clients in a different way. So whatever, it's just drama from clients that is you're trying to drag forward with you. To just melt that away. It's not agreements, it's just dumped energy that you got during appointments, before appointments, right after appointments, like the day before appointments and the day of and the day after. Dumped energy from trying to drag it forward by accident. Which you can clear. Someone says, thank you for your response. I had a similar read that I should enjoy the moment. Oh, about dating and just having the innocence at least for 5 weeks and just see how you feel in the moment and see what happens. Yeah, I think sometimes being a reader, it's like you can lose innocence to a point where it's not beneficial to you. Like some things, it's better not to read and just to see how it goes, and just to experience. You can kind of, sometimes there is such a thing as too much knowledge or, knowledge that's timing is off on your knowledge. Like you shouldn't know anything right now. You should just have your innocence. And whatever. It's like sometimes it's like you begin to think as a reader, like reading things is good no matter what, So sometimes, innocence and not reading things is more appropriate at a certain time. But just don't, obviously you don't want to let other people determine when you're reading and when you're not reading. But if your angels and your higher self says, yeah, just have your innocence right now, then obviously it's better for you. So I'm glad that made sense. I usually have a good idea of when the angels say no about dating someone and he felt approved. Yes, he is approved but they're not saying whether he's long-term or not. They're just like, be in the moment. Okay, so someone gives celebratory confetti. Thank you. Someone says, hello, didn't get the healing today. You're actually confused. I think that you are getting September healings. You're just not getting October healing. You didn't purchase October healing, but you did because the payments purchased 2 months in advance. So I'll confirm. Yeah, you got the healing. You're getting all of September. And you could email me if you want me to, remind you more specifically. But yeah, you are getting September healings. You're on the healing list. It's October ones that you haven't purchased. October healing sets. But anyway, so you were thinking you didn't get the healing, but you gave yourself a quick healing earlier. Good job. Anyway, how am I doing? How many chakras am I in? So like I said, you did get today's healing. You're in 7 through 3. You're releasing a lot out. You're grounding. Your second and first layers are a little tight, especially oddly enough, behind your left leg and your left hip. So in the back in general, but especially on your left side. So I don't know if that's typical for you to have more issues on your left side, but yeah, so you could unblock your second layer and your first layer. So right up against above your head and below your feet and the whole back left. And then also unblock back of second chakra, back of first chakra, but especially up here and down here. And then that way you might get into your second chakra as well. Would be nice. So feel free to email me if you're still confused about your payments and what healings you've purchased. So, someone says thank you for the feedback regarding the shield, the gold shield that you weren't sure of what it was from. I will get rid of it and rather work on things my angels want may want me to focus on. They can give you a present instead. That could be cool. Okay, so I'll reread that. So someone says, thank you for the feedback regarding the shield. Yes, you had a shield in your space. You weren't sure. You didn't think it was yours. You're not sure about it. So you say, I will get rid of it and rather work on things my angels may want me to focus on. They are showing me to write down a list of the big no-nos I've been doing. Ha 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 ha. Yeah, that sounds good. But yeah, you can have your angels give you a present. So that, as you let go of this shield that was from some uncle or some dad figure or something, but it's in your space and it's created by someone else, so not really great. You can, they can give you a gift, and your angels can make a present for you. And you can put out your hand, say, angels, can you give me a present? And but say, angels, angels, can you give me a present? And then so you're getting, it's an exchange. Give the shield to your angels, and then you get something in return. But yeah, that sounds like a good idea, to write down a list of the things your angels most want you to do differently. They're happy with that idea. Elated with that idea, they say. Thrilled. Titillated. Delighted. So this is, hi Janet. I have a 6-year-old student. Yeah, who's your teacher? You're mentioning their name, who gets very dysregulated. The rest of my class then gets wigged out, and sometimes myself too. I'm doing grounding, etc. What is okay for me to do for a student? Thank you for all your help. Good question. So even if I heal a child who's 6 years old or even 17 years old, anything under 18, I get spiritual consent from both parents. Even if one's in heaven, even if the parent is divorced, I get telepathic consent from both parents. Because otherwise I don't want a parent coming at me, because they might not understand what I'm doing. Even though, like, say the mom purchases a healing from me, the dad on a spirit level might detect that and be like, whoa, strange lady screwing with my child, So it's just easier and better karmically to get approval ahead of time. So since this is a recurring situation in your classroom, you can ask your angels and have them work out permission. And that way on the astral, they can, see if the parents are going to consent. Both parents are going to consent to you just grounding the kid during the class. Just make a red grounding for the kid. Like a red earth energy soak. That'd probably be the main thing. Also, you can get the kid extra healings before your class. Like every night, you can get them extra healings, and right before the class, you can get them a clean out, so that right before they walk into the class, they're because if he's wigged out like he is, when he does, it's like his back doors are all open. The good karma windows are all like damaged and too accessible. And so then, I can't. I don't have an external. Girl. Anyway, she's very shy, so anytime I can get her on camera, it's Doesn't even let us touch her. So anyway, okay, back to the student and what you can do. So yeah, these good karma windows get damaged, his creative rings get damaged, his upper chakras get damaged. So all of that. Upper chakras, creative rings, and good karma. His base of skull points get all compressed and tight. So you could ask your angels to arrange that he gets special healings every night. And they're gonna get the parents' consent first, and the angels will do the healing, so you don't have to do any of it. And even in the classroom, it would probably be easier for you not to have to do the red earth energy soak with him. Just ask your angels to. But that way, it's all sort of, there's prearranged consent between the angels and his parents, so you don't have to reinvent the wheel during a class when you're trying to teach him. I hope that makes sense. So basically, just have a chat with your angels, ask them you need really in-depth, repair healings for him, clean outs, repairs, etc. You don't have to explain why, the angels know. But they'll figure out parent consent for all of it. Yeah, so then in the moment of the classroom, you can just ask the angels to do it. But then also set it up, ask your angels to give him a clean out right for the class. Like within a half hour before your class. Have them get a clean out. And just ask that in advance, like angels, every day, half hour before the class starts, can you give him a good, that he's more likely to be for your class. Yeah. But 80% of it will be those healings at night in his sleep, repair and all that he needs. I hope that helps. But as far as you and the other people in the class, just do a tricolor, just do a one color earth energy soak for the whole classroom. If you feel that happening, just, bring up earth energy straight from the core of the earth, not through your grounding, but just a separate grounding, and just red earth energy soak for the whole class, as if you guys are in the forest. There are trees all around. That makes sense. Okay. Oh. Okay. So garden and pet update. Garden update. It's early September. We still have two blueberry bushes that we need to pick the blueberries off of. They're netted, so the birds haven't gotten to the blueberries and the deer haven't gotten to them, so they're full of berries. Hope they're not overly ripe now. Probably some of them are, but there'll be plenty that are good enough, I hope. So we can freeze them. We end up having so many that we can't finish them, like even throughout the winter. But whatever, it's nice to have them. They're yummy. So we'll have to do that. Finish picking blueberries. The tomato plants are all giant. Well, no, not all giant. The half that are gonna be good are nice and giant, which is good. But they're running a little late, of course. So there are no ripe tomatoes yet. Well, some cherry tomatoes are ripe. Here, I'll show you 2 cherry tomatoes. We've only gotten 3 cherry tomatoes out of the garden so far. Here are 2 of them. So it's a variety called dark cherry, I think is what it's called. Baker Creek Seed Company. So the website is rareseeds.com. Cherry tomatoes, I find, are like they're very hardy. Like they apparently cherry tomatoes grow in the least amount of sunlight of any tomato. Like all tomatoes need full sun, but cherry tomatoes apparently need less full sun than the regular tomatoes. So and they seem to be, I just let them grow wild. I don't bother like super pruning them or anything. So probably in a couple weeks we'll have like more cherry tomatoes than we can possibly. I'm hoping for a very late first frost for us, because we need time for all these tomatoes to ripen. I may try to sneak in a crop of snap peas, a late crop of snap peas. It's pretty late to plant snap peas, but I might do it anyway, just for kicks, because I have all the seeds anyway, so may as well. We'll see. The weather, it's been all right for gardening. Not so bad. I mean, some days are too hot, of course, but not so bad. So I can't complain. I've made like 1 or 2 garden related videos, but I haven't made one that shows the whole garden yet. I should get around to doing that really soon. But I have a channel, a personal public channel, I call it. So it's personal information, but it's information that I want to share publicly. So like about gardening or pets or stuff. So that channel, you could subscribe to it if you want, is called Janet's Pine. So if you subscribe to that channel, then when I post something new, you'll see it. And pets update, not a lot to report. I think I'm gonna try to get our girl Boo Boo Kitty fixed soon, because we haven't taken her to the vet or anything yet. After tricking her to come in the house. I mean, we just got, we got her, gave her medication so that all the fleas she had died, before we brought her in. But then other than that, we haven't done anything as far as vet stuff. So, but she won't let us touch her. So it's kind of interesting how we're going to do this. Because like if we trick her to go into a carrier once, that'll probably be the only time we're ever able to do it. Or for a long time. So it'll be interesting. Because the vet wants us to bring them in for an exam first, and then they'll schedule a spay neuter appointment after that. But that implies bringing her in twice, which is probably not possible. So I'm going to have to talk to the vet and see if they can give us a special allowance for that, so that we can just bring her in on the morning of the surgery appointment and they can do the exam and everything while she's passed out. Get her fixed and chipped and vaccinated and everything. So then we can bring her back home and they'll work on forgiving us over time. And that'll be interesting. I'll be looking forward to reporting the success of that project. Hopefully. We'll see. Someone says, thanks for all your help. And little cat emoji, yes. Oh, a gray cat emoji for Boo Boo Kitty. How about the class doing 2 inhales and a mouth exhale exercise to help regulate the children's nervous system, like a breathing program? Yeah, I mean, anything you want to teach the kids about grounding or breathing and centering and clearing your mind, any of that would be super good karma. Yeah, of course. You could do like a tricolor earth energy soak with them, or even a 1-color earth energy soak. You could talk to them about how there's a lot of earth energy in the forest, and that can be comforting and, soothing. Yeah, any kind of grounding stuff, anything like that. You can also talk to them about, there are different modes for different activities. You know, like if you want to study and pay attention in class, it's a different like energy setting for yourself than if you're running outside and you want to run as fast as you can, or you want to catch a ball and you want to, you know, and you get to scream and yell and, you know, yell to someone across the playground. It's a really different mode. And if you can switch modes, you know, through your own willpower and your own concentration, it's priceless in life to be able to switch your modes. Okay, I'm going to switch into studying mode. Okay, I'm going to switch into play outside mode. Okay, I'm going to switch into clean up my toys mode. I'm going to switch into bedtime mode. I'm going to switch into gotta get ready for school mode, you know? So, you know, that would be useful. Probably their parents would be grateful that you mentioned that. You know, you can have them practice that, you know, kind of, if you want. Basically, it's like they would turn their kundalini off for sleep, turn it way down for certain things, and then turn it way up for recess and stuff. But, you know, telling them about kundalini is probably, you know, maybe TMI at that age, you know, but just being able to reset and set your mode, you know, for a certain activity that might be age appropriate. You could think about that with your angels, see what you think of. We do a meditation every day. There is even a grounding video for kids about being a tree that always makes me think of one you did, Janet. Cool. Yeah. So, yeah, you can just maybe teach them, okay, there's, you know, ride your bike mode, recess mode, and then there's be in a classroom mode, you know, and it's kind of like how people teach, you know, indoor voice, outdoor voice, you know, like you want to reset yourself for the activity and the time and the, if you're in a library, it's a very different mode that you want to be in than if you're, you know, yelling in a sporting event. All right, cool. Well, I hope you guys liked the healing, and I hope you have a good day, afternoon, morning, evening, whatever's next for you, and with some moment of sales stuff. So that's my website address, jwhealing.com. So if you wanted to purchase a set of healing so that I would heal you, live streams, that's my website. You can go and make that happen. There are sliding scale rates, so you pick the rate. If the standard rate is not affordable for you, there are financial need rates, and you pick one that is affordable. It says, I have a kitty just like your kitty, Janet. So in that your kitty is gray, or in that your kitty doesn't let you touch them? I'm wondering which. All right, you guys, you're so amazing, and take care. And so the next healing in this set of 3 will be Sunday in 3 days. And then after that, Wednesday. And all the other dates are on my website about the vet experience. Oh. Okay. Bye, everybody. You're so amazing. Woohoo. Butterflies on the beach. Why not?